So investors finally believe that Powell is hawkish and is not done raising rates. Well, maybe they got the clue yesterday. Darden restaurants, man. Maybe bring back Red Lobster. We got a lot to talk about today. Market under 4,400. 100 handles off that expiration blow off top. This is pre-market prep on a Thursday. Get your notepads out. We got some good.
Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep with your host, Joel Elkanin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I'd buy that stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
All right, good morning, traders and investors. We didn't spend much time in the green. Yesterday's close, 9.25. Pre-market high, 13.5. Pre-market low, 93, trying to get a bounce. That puts us down 10.75 handles at 43.9850. The buck under 102, down just a couple pennies, 101.66. Bonds, we got a 5-star level in the bond market, folks, 128.05. Look at all those highs. Kind of reminds me of 134. Crude in the red by a $1.43 at 71.10. Gold migrating towards 1900, down 920, 1935.60. Silver in the red as well. That has been the weak link, down 23 cents at 22.58. And Bitcoin futures still holding 30K. We're down 80 bucks here at 30,180. Not quite reaching those April highs. So for people that are kind of new to the show or haven't been around for a long time, Triple D and I used to make a bunch of lunch and steak dinner bets. And he kicked my butt all the time. I don't know how many lunches I owe him, but it looks like we got another wager going, Triple D. And I'm looking forward to this one. Mitch, did you see our little Twitter exchange?
Little Twitter exchange. No, I actually did not catch that one. What happened there? You guys
Well,
got a bet
apparently
on?
The Verge is reporting that Zuckerberg has challenged Elon Musk to an old-fashioned cage match.
Oh.
And I'm going with Elon Musk.
Celebrity death match? You guys remember that?
I'm going with Elon Musk. I'm going with my guy. Even though maybe Zuckerberg knows kung fu fighting, apparently, or something Joel says.
Yes, you
even
did
though
do
he might
your
know
research.
that, I'm going with my guy, Elon Musk. He'll outsmart him. He's smarter than Zuckerberg. He'll find a way.
Dennis, you didn't do your research. You didn't look at your relationships. You were delinquent.
I'm going with the underdog. Everybody was going Zuck. I'm going Musk.
Well, Zuck,
he's my man.
Zuck is pretty accomplished at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Zuck has, and Musk only took a year of it when he was a kid. But one more thing, we have a guest on the show, one of our favorite guests, who is also an expert in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Mm-hmm. Do you know who that is?
Is that Legator? Who is it?
Nope.
Who's got our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt?
Come on, Dennis. You should know this.
No idea.
He's also a comedian.
Santiago.
Santiago?
No, not Santi. We
have multiple comedians on this show.
Well, that's right. I'm gonna get Bill on.
Bill Santiago. That's my man.
Someone Brianna brought on a long time ago. He's been on the show a lot, Dennis. He's just like, I'll give you a hint. I mean, he's just like the nicest guy on Wall Street.
Unless you take him the wrong way and then he beats you up. I have no idea.
Jeremy Newsom.
Oh, double R.
There you go. Yeah. My man knows
double R does it all, man.
Yeah,
how's the Winnebago travels? Get him on. Can we get him on the show?
I got him on.
Can we bring him on? He's traveling across the country trading from a Winnebago. Can we that's just an awesome angle. Why don't we have double R on the show? Get him on. Joel's going to call him.
Let's get it on.
We'll get him on.
What? I had him on the closing print, and I
Bring
want
him
you know
on
because
back
he's
here.
trading from his Winnebago, and he was like in a hotel room or something. I want him from the Winnebago. Okay.
Oh yeah, he's got to be from the Winnebago.
Yeah,
Yes,
Okay.
we want to see
Okay.
the
I'll track him
Winnebago
down
for
again.
sure.
All right. The chat's going to get restless here because it's 8:07 and we haven't talked one stock, and they're going to
You
tell.
see, we
They're
had
going
I
to
too
know.
tell.
good of a pre-show team, so I'm going to get us started here. Let's go
Yes,
to
go.
Jerome Powell, of course, Fed Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell suggesting more interest rates increases due to high inflation, tight labor market conditions showing signs of loosening. One comment that I thought was very important is he said that nearly all FOMC participants expect that there will be inappropriate to raise interest rates somewhat further by the end of the year. These were given by prepared remarks, and of course, is going to continue today. So be careful out there. And in other news, of course, Bank of England surprising with a 50 basis point rate hike. So now, what are we starting to turn around a little bit on the narrative?
I don't think we turn around the narrative, but I think we are due for a pullback. We've been talking about potential pullbacks here. We're getting them in a few stocks. So I don't think we're turning around and, all of a sudden they're going to tank these things back down to the lows. But I think we just got so overextended. I mean, stocks going up, and we talked about Tesla going up from $160 to $260 a month, up 70% a month. Needs a healthy pullback. Key reversal yesterday. The down kicks it off. And now all of a sudden, you get another downgrade, which we can talk about in a second, but just sticking with the macro talk here. Everything just went up too much too fast. So let's just cool it off a little bit. Are we buying the pullback? I think so. I think we're going to find
Not here. Not here. No, not here.
So I'll move back to the macro markets, not on Tesla. So I went all over the place. Bring it back to the overall market here. S&P's come back down. Let's think about 430 SPY.
All right, let me go to the
stocks at 430. I think if you're underinvested, yes. I think if you're fully invested, I don't know what you're doing, because you're doing really well actually. I guess if you're fully invested, but it's just been too much too fast. I think you're buying pullbacks here. Another four at SPY, so 40 S&P handles down. I think you got your shopping list going.
That's a potential stopping point, but that's just the fluff that they tacked on from the expiration week. So I can't give it.
Are you thinking the high is in, Joel? Are you calling another high is in?
No, because I was wrong when I said it. They took me a while to do it. If I would have made that call, a definitive call, it should have been on Monday after the blow off expiration top. So I'm not going to hop on the bandwagon here after we dropped 100 handles. I'll just go and repeat that right now it's much easier to identify resistance than support. That's just the bottom line. And there's more 2, 3, 4 stars on the upside, and there's 2 stars on the downside. So right now, that's the way I'm looking at things. Of course, the complexion of the market could change. The thing that the market, he was hawkish. I really thought that was a hawkish Fed meeting, but they just because they paused, they jammed the market. It was expiration. They really blew a lot of the shorts out with that move. And then they
sets up well for a narrative that the top was put in on Friday. It sets up well for that narrative.
Yep.
I don't think it is, but it does. There's a potential that we had the blow off top on Friday. There's that potential.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stocks just getting silly. And the reversal that we had was significant. Obviously, we've covered a lot of those tech stocks here. Money Mitch, what are your thoughts? We've had such a run, especially let's stick to the NASDAQ talk, because we know the IWM really hasn't had the run. We know the S&Ps hasn't had the run like the NASDAQ. It's the NASDAQ that has really had the run. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was playing the SQQQs for a little bit and just kind of come in, come out. I think in this market, it's also very hard to stay even on the short side, because you get moves like you got yesterday in NVIDIA, where the stock comes down 10 points, something like that, and then it comes all the way back up. You know what I mean? And I think that's where it gets a little bit challenging, even if you are on the short side, right? Mm-hmm. You see a position going in, let's say for some reason you got 435 yesterday on NVIDIA. The stock goes down all the way below 422 and then right back up there to 434.
Tough.
So that's tough to trade. I can tell you guys that. I was watching it. And I was fighting myself. I was like, should I short at 434 here now? And it gets very challenging when we're getting these kind of elevator moves down, but stair moves right back up. And so what I think here is that even if you're playing the short side, it's almost like the same way we were playing the long side. You got to sell the rips and look for kind of these little bounces back to look for maybe re-entries, because that's the way it's been. It's like rip down, climb right back up.
Yeah. People ask me, am I buying more on the AMD pullback? I said I'd buy more at 110. I probably should. What I usually like to do is, when I talked about this yesterday, is the stocks start breaking, wait for the stabilization and then the hook up. That's a better setup here as opposed to trying to catch the falling knife, which you're absolutely doing with AMD. If I didn't have any AMD, I probably would say 110, fill in the gap. Seems like a logical bounce point. It's trying here today. It's actually up a little bit here, despite the market, being down. I think there's a logical bounce point there. I do think 10 years from now, AMD is going to be a hell of a lot higher. It's not trading 600 times earnings like some people believe it is. That was off of 1 quarter. When you look at current PE, they take the current quarter and then just take it out and extrapolate it from there. You got to look at projections. You got to look at where it is. It's trading 40 times earnings. It's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. 40 times forward earnings. When I was buying it at 90, 92, it was about 30 times earnings. So it's coming in at 30 times earnings, 35 times earnings. AMD starts to look very much attractive. And then there's Intel. So just sticking with the chip story, we're going to take you back to Tesla in a minute because I got the Adam Jonas downgrade. But I got called away on Friday, basically right at the top, Joel, because the thing.
I sold mine on Friday.
Well, I did too. I sold mine lower because I call's written lower, but I got called away on Friday.
Hey.
And then boom. I mean, we
right
just went from $37 back to 32 in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Do I buy Intel back at 32? That's
same thing question. I'm thinking about, Dennis.
I'm thinking about buying the Intel back at 32. They literally just call you away on Friday. Now you come back in it. I don't mind the Intel. I think it's where it broke out from. There's another logical stopping point. Or maybe you just add AMD. I think AMD is going to be a better company going forward. But the Intel valuation, although it's going up because the earnings are going down, so there's something to think about there too. There's some stocks on your shopping list because
27 to 37. Well, first of all, I got some good technical levels. I want to get them in before we get Marc Chaikin on here. 27 to 37. Boom, broke out from 32. That's the 50% retracement. With your AMD, you talked about the 110. I would at least wait for a gap fill at 108.91. Halfway of this move is like the 107 and a half area. So that's what I'd be looking for if you're looking to buy these stocks on a pullback. Do we have Mr. Chaikin lurking in the background here? Did he join us yet?
Almost. He'll get up in just a second. I don't see his camera ready just set, so I'll get him on in just a second here. But I did want to just kind of read through that news, right? Dennis kind of pretty much talked about it here. The downgrade on Tesla today.
Yeah.
Tesla shares dipping as Morgan Stanley downgrades the stock from overweight to equal weight, despite raising the price target. And of course, Adam Jones is the one that's coming after this one. And I did hear a little bit on the note that he put out here. So going to go ahead and state exactly what was quoted here. While the market may want to dream on the AI theme, we prepared to wake up to the sound of the blaring car horn. So there you guys see it. He's calling out that the AI dream is slowly but breaking here.
Adam Jonas is all over the place all the time.
Hey, I give him something for going
with
for
a bearish scenario of like $1, a bullish scenario of like $10,000.
He likes being the extreme analyst. Is that what you're telling us?
He's all over the place and he hedges himself. So that's the one thing to consider. So anything Adam Jonas says, take it with a grain of salt. He hedges himself both ways. So Tesla's just been overbought. It's overbought in the short term. I still think Tesla probably goes higher in the long term. The Musk is just a genius. The Musk, we'll call him.
He's musky.
50% retracement of the whole damn move. A call up from 170 up to 270. 50 points off would be 220. That'd be a buy. Get down there. I don't know if you're going to get that far. There's too much underneath demand here. Shorts buried. I think it's on your shopping list, even though the
I think you
valuation is
yeah.
crazy.
Look a little more short term here because we're nowhere near those levels. Your next daily low, and I'll just give you a couple numbers for today, and you can do what you want with them. 47.29. That's just your 4-day low. Your 8-day low is 40. You know, there's some lows in the 244 handle, but I think at least you got to wait for a gap fill down at 235. 23. And just before we bring Mark on, I mean, what were we talking about with the analysts? What stock was it where they ganged up? Oh, SoFi. This is SoFi too, right? The one guy comes out and downsgraded, it gets hit, and then the next day another joker comes out and
Yeah, they
downs.
come in line,
Yeah,
right? They
yeah,
get in
yep.
line. They're like, all right, well, let's just
Well, that was a good idea, you know.
oh, who downgraded it? Okay, let's go in today, and then maybe let's go in tomorrow. And yeah, I mean, it starts following, and we see it in the price action, right? It actually does make an effect. And just like SoFi, I think that you continuously see these stocks pull back. Another thing that a key reversal yesterday, I would say, is on ARC. We'll see what happens there with growth stocks and things like that. We're going to go to Mark in just a second here, just trying to get his camera on. I'm having a little bit of issues on that. But ARKK, big reversal yesterday. Does this mean that, growth stocks are going to come all the way back down?
No, it's Tesla.
I kick it to you guys.
So
Yeah,
it's
today's
Tesla. Yeah, it's
I
Tesla.
mean, Roku
ARKK,
also broke though too. Roku's a big spot there too. So I'd keep an eye on the
it's
bigger
Tesla
names,
that knocked
right?
all that down though, because Tesla is such a big component in ARKK.
I mean,
you can see,
Roku's
put the
just
two
as big,
charts
right?
on top. Put the two charts on top of each other. I arb ARK versus Tesla.
Okay.
So ARKK, I actively trade it lots of times. Tesla, trade it all the time. Those two stock, like the ETF, there's an ARB trade there. So you see Tesla going down, they hit ARK. I mean, yes, the ETF, but it's the biggest component still, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 10%.
And other components get hit because it gets hit. So there is that whole trade there too. The ETF arbitrage effects are just nothing short of incredible.
How about that chart, Dennis? Look what I did for you. I got ARK on the top and Tesla on the bottom.
There you go.
There you
See?
go.
Oh, it looks like something the same. Oh, maybe I'm on to something here. There's a relationship there. Holy mackerel. It's not like I've been exploiting that for 3 years, but yeah,
Don't
it's
tell
there.
everybody.
Oh, I think I'm right.
Yeah, and then also I was just pointing to, because the other leading positions in ARK also 9% Roku, 9% Zoom, also taking a beating on the downside.
And you can thank Tesla for that as well.
Yeah, I mean,
because
of course
they all kind of move together. They start hitting Tesla and ARK, and then
they went after
the other
growth
components. It all just is it the egg? Is it the bird comes first? The egg, whatever. I mean, chicken and egg. It's ARK. It's all related. So you've got to understand what is in those. They are actively traded. Sometimes you get these little ETFs and they're nothing. ARK is not a nothing ETF. It is very actively traded. So it will have an influence on all of its components. It starts going down, it snowballs. So Tesla, ARK, Roku, Zoom, there's a relationship there. Now it's, you've got to extrapolate a little bit there, but ARK has been going up to your point, Mitch, for the better part of a month and a half. It gets hit all of a sudden, they'll hit the other components of the ARK too. And it got hit because of Tesla.
Yeah, where it makes sense maybe coming back, at least on ARK, is I don't know, I'm looking at maybe like right back down to that 40, 41 area. So that's kind of the area that I would be looking for a little bit more of a dip buy on ARK. We'll see if I'm able to get that. And looking for pullbacks, right? I mean, Shop, nice little pullback also, starting to come back off the highs. We'll see what happens on that one. I'm keeping an eye on these names because I have a feeling, I mean, like Roblox was a hard turn to the downside there. That one looks a little bit like not as strong as it used to be. So I'm keeping an eye on some of these ARKK names to see if we're going to get a turnaround in growth names.
Okay, bring Mark on. It's just going to be audio today. He's
okay. I just wanted to make sure there. All right, let's go ahead. Let's bring him on here. Here's Mark in the background. Mark, can you hear us?
I can. How are you?
Perfect. All right. Sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we have your banner up there. You can go ahead and kick us off. How are we seeing the markets, Mark?
Well, we're in this June swoon period that everybody spotted on the internet, but it's a very reliable pattern since 1995. It ends around the 27th of June, and then 19 out of 22 times the market has gone, 19 out of 23, the market has gone to rally in July, into the July expiration. So I'm looking to buy the dip here. And I like a lot of the names you've been talking about, like Tesla. AMD, I like, but I think it's got some challenges in the short term, as Dennis pointed out. I'd buy it here, but I'd use a close stop. I'd view this more as a trading entry rather than a longer term entry. So I'd stop it out around 103 if I bought it here.
Mark, I'm very interested in Intel here at this 32 level. What are your thoughts here? Because the Intel story has been broken for a long time, and then the last couple of weeks it really got hot, and then boom, boom, it's giving us a second chance here. I want to know what your metrics first. Obviously, Chaikin Analytics are talking about Intel. What are your thoughts on Intel?
Well, we've been bullish on the stock based on the Power Gauge rating. It took a long time to get started. I'm thinking that this is the dinosaur in the industry. Yeah, they've got some good stuff, the spinoff going, which creates some underlying value in the big factory they're going to build. But Intel is clearly on the come. I'd rather buy the dip in AMD, in NVIDIA. I think Intel's a dinosaur, and it's not going away, but I don't think that's where the real play is in the group.
And that scares me too. I mean, that's my thoughts. You actually just spoke what I'm thinking in my head. I was like, oh, it's starting to get hot. Oh, can this Intel story change? And it seems like every time you think the Intel story is changing, it's starting to show some life. This was back in the 50s. It started to show life, and then they just find a way to disappoint. And that's what scares me. It's like the perennial disappointer here, where every time it starts to show life, they come out and say something or do something that just isn't obviously taken well. So I'm challenged here to whether to rebuy my Intel stake or not.
Yeah, if you sold it, that was a brilliant sale. I also
I
think
had no choice. I got called away.
Oh,
Real
okay.
calls.
Something like a Broadcom. I mean, I
There's a
don't know
good
when
one.
these stocks pull back, but Broadcom, NVIDIA, if you can buy them on a pullback, God bless. These stocks are amazing.
I mean, AVGO is trading. Last time I looked at under a market multiple. I think it was maybe it's moved up to go past. I haven't looked for it because it's had a pretty good run, but it was 17 times earnings about a month ago. So maybe it's 18 or 19 times now because it's had a pretty big run. I'll have to reevaluate that. But here's a participant that's probably going to be involved with AI, obviously tied in with all the tech stories, and it doesn't trade at a nosebleed multiple. So maybe AVGO should be on our shopping list.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a better buy than Intel here.
Rating it.
Now, Tesla is really interesting to me. I want to end with a name that you haven't heard me talk about here, but Tesla is really interesting. They're putting a lot of pressure on the U.S. government to go with their standard charging station. Remember, Biden allocated, I don't know, $6.5 billion, $7 billion to the alternative charging station protocol. But with all the auto companies, from GM to Rivian to Ford, opting for the Intel charging station, I think they're going to get some government money at some point to build out this charging station network.
Marc, do you have another minute?
Yeah, I do. So here's the stock I really love, Generac, GNRC, talking about power supplies. Stock broke out yesterday. We recommended it down under 120 about 2 weeks ago in one of our monthly letters. And this is a great story. With all the extreme weather we're having around the country, you have power outages everywhere. This Generac has saved my bacon 10 times since I moved to Connecticut, 3.5 years. And I think you just got to go with it. Better than expected earnings report. The stock went sideways for about a month and a half. I think this is a stock, I'd actually buy it here. I'd buy the breakout, which I don't like to do in general. But while you're waiting for a pullback in tech, and by the way, Joel, you're always interested in my levels, it would be 4,300 to 4,325, which would be the rising 21-day average.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you about that because on Twitter this morning, someone mentioned, there was a 10.4% move in the ES about in 43 days. some of it mania and gamma driven. We did have the quad witch expiration a lot of times, turning points in the markets after such a big expiration. I know you're good with the levels, but also, very important, with the timing of things. So in your past experience after these expirations, where you do get a turn, is it time really doesn't matter? You focus more on your levels, or you look sitting out the month of June here. What would be your timetable on that 4,300 pullback?
Well, all of the above here. I mean, you've got the pattern of June post expiration week is down like 90% of the time, 85% of the time. So this is the one expiration where you do want to look for the pullback. Then you get this pattern where if you're up through the end of May, June, this period in late June called the June swoon is basically down. So you've got a window in here, and the price level is pretty obvious to me. It's the rising 21. I wouldn't like to see it break that. You've had a lot of really bearish news here. The ECB, you've got surprise rate hikes in England, and yet the market's holding together. This market has a bid under it, and I don't think that bid's going away. And there could be a surprise in July. Maybe they don't raise rates. Maybe they have a second pause day in July, and boy, would that push you to 4,600 overnight, because everybody's betting that there's going to be a rate hike sooner rather than later. And I think the market's factored all this in. Remember, a rate hike here, forget the inflation picture, which isn't all that bad right now. They're never going to get it down to 2%.
No, never.
That's
unless they just continue to cook the books.
Right, Green. But think about it. If they're raising rates here, it means the economy is strong. And nobody's betting on a strong economy. Yeah, we had a gamma squeeze, so you got the shorts covering, but you got Mike Wilson still talking about 3,000. Come on, guys.
Yeah, those levels there. Mark, hey, listen, we got a skedaddle here. We got jobless claims coming up at 8:30, and I don't want to hear Dennis complain if he gets picked off. It's not a big number, but Marc Chaikin Analytics, he's the founder, joining us here on Pre-Market Prep. Mark, we'll dial you up again in a few weeks. Thanks for coming on.
Sorry for the tech glitch, guys, but we'll be back.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
All right. Jobless claims, we'll see if we move. 44.98, 43.98 is where we're traded. Mitch, what are we looking for on these jobless claims?
All right, initial jobless claims consensus is 260,000, prior 262,000. We'll see what happens here as it comes in. Also, continuous jobless claims coming in. Of course, some more Fed speaking today. And look at all this economic data today. It's just full of it. We'll also get a lot of oil talk and gasoline talk later. Oil numbers coming through at 10 and 11. So keep your eyes out for that. And of course, Jerome Powell speaking at 10 a.m.
Powell at 10, existing home sales.
There's so much on the tape today, man.
Barkin, Bullard, and Bostic. That's Barkin's today, and then Bullock and Bostic.
They'll be barking about something
tomorrow.
Yeah, they'll be barking for sure.
The killer bees, man. The killer bees. We are trying to get back over that $4,300 level. Mid-range on the session comes in at 03 1/4. The bulls after
doubles.
After nicking that 4-day Globex low at 93.75, hit 93 even. We are on a rally, but you know what? We've gone 31 minutes and we haven't talked any earnings, Mitch.
All right. Well, let me really quickly run at least. Initial jobless claims came in at 264,000 versus 260,000. So another number slightly above the estimate. Of course, Jerome Powell saying it, of course, that the labor market's starting to show signs of conditions of loosening. But I don't think we really have seen that, right? I don't think we've seen it in the numbers. He says it's showing up. Where? Where's it showing up? Let me know, because I'm looking, Jerome. I'm looking. All right, let's get out of that. Let's go to some of these earnings reports on the day, of course. And one of the top ones was KB Homes. Let's get to that.
Oh,
YouTube
Dennis,
EPS
you got
here.
a piece of this one. I know you did.
I traded it.
at
Yeah, I knew it.
194, beat the $1.34 estimate. Sales of 1.77 billion, beat the 1.42 billion estimate. So KB Homes beating Q2 EPS and sales estimate, providing optimistic housing revenue projection for fiscal year 23.
They absolutely blew it away.
I don't
And
know
you know
how,
what?
man, but they did.
They absolutely blew it away. And what we talked about on the show was the bar was just too dang high. And they couldn't beat that bar anymore. There was just no way it was going to continue to go higher because it popped and it popped to 54, 50.
That's
The algos
crazy.
are stupid once again because they just see beat, raise, buy. They don't put in that, oh, maybe every other home builder is beat. Maybe this thing's been running straight up into the report. Maybe there's just a possibility that all the good news is priced in. And 54, 53.50, 53, 52.50, 52. Now red, 51.50, 51, 50, 50. And everybody's like, oh, well, they said this. And they'll find a fundamental reason to justify the turn because they don't like to hear that the stock's overbought. They don't like to hear that all the good news is priced in. They will literally go through that whole report. The media will go through that whole report to find one little line that could potentially be the fundamental reason that the stock is down $1.50 when it's all just made up BS because they did everything right. The reason the stock is down is that all the good news is priced in.
Oh, wow. I had so many things to say here. First of all, I want to ask you, where did you short it on the way up and hold your breath, or
I
did you?
day trading it, so just day trading it in there, but try to short it. So try to short on it went up, and it's hard to. So when the stock reports, and here's a lesson in trading earnings, when a stock reports, you never want to be like, okay, boom, it's 53. I'm just going to short it. You got to almost wait until they stop going up. Again, the same thing. Shoot them in the back. Don't shoot them in the face when you're shorting stocks. So after earnings, you've got to be very, very, very cautious because, this thing went to 54.5. You short it at 53. You're probably getting yourself stopped out. You got to wait until you see the top and then you get another chance at it and you can play it from there. So that's the way to play them. If you're leaning towards shorting the stock, you've got to go through that. And, I'm not saying I traded this, I made a little bit of money day trading it. But it was definitely one of those that you could kind of feel that the pop was probably going to eventually get faded just for the simple reason. You had was it Lennar, last week was the same thing. Alien, if we go to their report, they blew it away too. And the stock went up, but it didn't even really go up as much as you'd think. Like 294 versus 232, just bringing that up 8.08, everything. Gross margins going up. Lennar just firing on all cylinders too. They simply set the bar too high. So that's why the stock is trading down. That's why the pop was faded. That's why all the algos, the earnings algos that bought the stock on the pop are losing money here. So don't think that every algo out there, everybody's got this in their head that every algo is Citadel and every algo just, kills it and, everybody's canny. There's probably the majority. I'm going to say this right now. I don't have any data on it, but I bet the majority of algorithmic traders out there lose money. Not joking. Not Kenny. Kenny Griffin? No. Definitely.
No.
Not Kenny.
Kenny
He's the
Glick?
GOAT. He's the best. Not Kenny. Virtu's good. There's a lot of good ones. They're market making more. They're not making directional
They're not
bets as
making
much.
calls. No way.
They're not making
No.
calls. That's why
No.
they're making money. These earnings algos are making calls. They're saying, oh, beat, raise, it's going, we're going. But the human being's still superior because we talked about this on the show. We can see the setup. We can see even if they beat, the bar is so high. So incorporating all that into these algorithms is just not that simple to do. So that's why the opportunities are there. So there's definitely opportunities to make money off of dumb algorithms, and there's a lot of
All
them.
right, couple things here after that nice rant there. Number one, home builders, Dennis. Haven't we seen these reversals in earnings from the home builders? Don't they eat? If they knock it down like $3, then it comes back, or they rally it a lot. I mean, the home builders. I wish I could ask Chat GPT AI about the historical trading pattern of. But here's the other thing, and this is a really simple lesson here that I want to get across to people. Forget about the extended run that it had. Forget about everything else. The stock has a 9-day average trading range of $1.21. $1.21. The thing closes at 52, and it doubles the average trading range in the pre-market. I'm not saying you necessarily sell it or short it, but the odds say
it's not an AI stock. We'll say
it's
that.
not exactly. But historical references say that this is, unless this is just like way out on the continuum as far as probabilities, this stock is going to come in. So to use Dennis's line, if a stock like KBO is trading up $2.50 and you're buying it now, you're doing it wrong. You just have to respect the stock for its characteristics and what it is. And then before we move on from this, I just want to drop a link here in the chat. I had Jay McCandless on Pre-Market Prep Plus yesterday, and Jay was on the show in October of 22. And you all know what happened in October of 22. He was banging the table on these stocks, on the home builder stocks, and man, he made a great call.
Yeah.
And so I had him on again yesterday. I just dropped the article in there. The video's in there too. Jay McCandless, a big shout out to him. Technically speaking, when you go to KBH, keep an eye on this 50.5 level. I know we're trading down. That's a pair of lows from yesterday. If this or 2 days, 50, 70 spots, the pair of lows. If we don't hold that off the open, get a little pop, maybe go back up the unchanged, I would be selling this one on weakness. So we'll see what happens with KB Homes.
I mean, they did everything right. The company did nothing wrong here. And again, you will hear on CNBC, because not a lot of earnings, there'll be some analyst, there'll be somebody coming on and pointing out the fundamental reason why KB Homes is trading down. That is just BS. And they'll find a fundamental reason. So I'm just repeating myself here, because you cannot believe a lot of stuff you just hear in the media. Shocking. But the reason this is down is the simple fact that it was just overbought.
Look
and
at it.
All the good news is priced in. Keep it simple. Next.
Mitch.
All right. Sorry, I had to hop
put
out
him to
there
sleep
for a
because I said
second.
the same thing twice.
Yeah, no worries. It's just how it is. It's KBH. It doesn't make me too excited. Let's go to another stock here. Let's go to Accenture, as they're exceeding their Q3 adjusted EPS and sales estimate, but lowering its fiscal year 23 revenue growth outlook. And in a time when we're seeing tech pull back, probably not the best report on a day when we're seeing tech starting to pull back.
No. So beat. That's good. Or beat in line. And then you're right. Q4 revenue 15.75 to 16.35 versus 16.35. Reduced revenue growth 8 to 9 from 8 to 10. Numbers are still decent. But again, so many big expectations tied in. Accenture, people are talking about it is an AI play, like everything. They're like, how can you tie Accenture in? So now you pull back here. It's a stock that really hasn't participated in the recent run either. Probably falls into, the value tech range, even though you're only looking 1160. So you're still trading like almost 30 times earnings. It's still more value techy compared to some of the other plays here, but you don't want to see, a slight guide down here in any tech stock right now when tech has been firing all cylinders. So we'll see. I mean, the buy the dip mentality is still down here. The FedEx report was not great, and they bought that right back. So do they do it again with Accenture here? I'm not buying. I'll say this: I'm not buying the dip on this one.
This is a curveball to me.
Too hard.
I'm gonna reserve comments. Maybe
I agree. Too hard.
Yeah, a little gap fill maybe, but I'm talking technical here. 288.29, but pass on ECN.
Yeah, tough. Sometimes just don't swing at the pitch. Like that's sometimes there's pitches that this one's up the middle. I'm gonna take a good swing. Maybe you still strike out, but he got a good shot to hit a home run. This one here, nah, I'm not. I'm passing too. This is a curveball.
You want to hear an interesting statistic that a guy that used to, a lady that used to work with Lisa, her husband Vern. I went to a baseball game with him, and do you know? I think it might be over 70%. When it's full count.
Yeah.
You know that like it's close to 60, 70% of the next pitch is a foul ball.
Yeah. Why
You
not?
did know
I can
that,
see that.
Mitch?
I
Give
didn't
me
know
that
that
stat
exact
again.
percentage, but
At a full count,
Yeah.
when you're watching a game and it's a full count,
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay, the next pitch is usually a foul ball.
Oh, it's probably
Yeah.
they're fighting
Yeah.
them off, fighting them
yeah,
off.
the
Yeah.
biggest thing there is that you got to protect the plate, right? You can't let anything go close to it. So a lot of
Exactly.
times
So if
you're
it's,
more
you
in
think
swing
it's close, you
mode
got to foul it off
than
and
watch
fight it
mode.
off. You think about how many you watch in baseball, how much you get to a full count, and then it's like 7 more pitches before something, because fouling it off, fight it off.
Oh, I got to send you guys the video of me hitting the bomb, but let's keep going. Let's
This
get
Mitch,
Yeah, I
man,
wanna
he's
see that.
athletic.
Yeah, man. I've been trying to hit a 400 footer. I've hit a couple 300.
Holy.
I hit a 363, a 330. I'm trying to get a 400 footer. I'll let you guys know if I
You
get
on
it.
the juice? Are you on the juice?
Come on,
or
baby.
something?
That's the juice
Look
right
at this
here.
guy. Look at
That's
this
the
Maybe,
guy.
juice right
we
here,
should do
baby.
a
Come on,
pre-market
baby.
prep
Let's
post.
go.
Look at that guy. Nice, man. We're
If
putting you in the cage match with Zaki.
Yeah, let's
get
go,
Money
man. I'm
Mitch in
ready
there,
for it,
'cause
man.
That's
Let's
a better
go.
You
matchup,
got-
maybe.
I
I think
wouldn't
Joel
get
took
it.
me for $100
Hey,
on
hey,
the Musk versus Zaki.
I've gone
But
to
Money
America's
Mitch
top
versus
team.
Zaki, there's a match for you.
I've gone to
My money's
America's
on
top
Money
team.
Mitch.
I've gone with green belts. I haven't done black belts, but hey,
Look at this guy.
let's keep it going.
Guy
Let's go
does
to
it all,
Darden
man.
restaurants
We'll do
here.
a sports challenge, swimming and golf. Okay, a pre-market prep cast, all-around sports event, golf and swimming.
We're
And
going
then,
off the
Pros-
rails. Bring us back. Money
Pros
Mitch.
versus Joes, they call it. Darden's restaurant. Let's go there.
Bring us
Q4
back, Money
EPS
Mitch.
$2.58 beat the $2.54 estimate. Sales of 2.8 billion beat the 2.77 billion estimate. Who's going out to the restaurants? Let us know in the chat. Put a 1 if you've gone out to a restaurant in the last, let's say, 2 weeks. Love
I
to
have.
hear it in the
I put in
chat.
a 1.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I'll throw a 1 in the chat there. I've been going to
Nice.
restaurants all the time. I hate cooking at home sometimes. There's a 1 in the chat. Throw it up there. What do you guys
Oh,
think?
yeah.
Darden restaurants?
No,
DRI.
not for me.
Mm.
No, it's not even a curveball. I don't even want to buy this dip. It's just a
He
flat
said
out no.
no.
Accenture, I was like, I could be talked into buying that dip. Darden restaurants.
It's almost
3%
near-
Dividend,
is
I get
this all-time
5.5
highs?
in the
It's close.
GIC.
Yeah, it is.
You got risk of a slowdown. Why? Why Darden restaurants? Why is this the dip to buy? No, thank you.
Wow, it was a dip to buy a little bit earlier when it went to 158. Is there anything on the dailies there? Oh wow, what confluence there. 158 was your May 31st low, and your pre-market low comes in at 158.02. That's your level. If you're looking to buy, you bounce $3 off it. Just this is it has. I like when the pre-market levels coincide with the daily level under that 158. Look out, your next daily low comes in at 153.65, adding relevance to that 158.5 area. 158. There was a closing on May 17th at 158.69. They should never. I know the stock has done well, but they should never have sold Red Lobster.
Is that what it's? So no, I always forget. It's Red Lobster they got rid of, and they kept the Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Come on.
Red Lobster is killer, man. That is just an awesome. Yeah, actually, Olive Garden's good too.
You like Olive Gardens,
Good
Dennis?
restaurants. Maybe you
Oh,
can talk
man.
me into buying the dip. Just kidding.
I've had some horrible experiences at Olive Gardens, but we won't go
No,
there.
the bread. I've had all good. You get that like at Olive Garden. You get that what is it? Italian feast. You get the lasagna.
Yeah, you
and
get
you
the all you can
fettuccine.
eat bread. You know,
Tour of
Dennis
Italy.
loves
Tour
it.
of Italy. You get like all three of their big meals in one. Joel's like, I've
Oh,
never
good
done that in my
Lord,
life. I'm like,
We
I'll
had
put
a
2 of them down, man.
big
You guys
family.
are all athletic. You guys who know how to do the jiu-jitsu and the fighting and the swimming. I'll do the eating competition, baby.
Yeah.
Joey
Pizza
Jaws is
eating
my hero,
challenge.
baby. Let's do it. 48
All right.
chicken wings. Let's go.
Joey Chestnut and the
Joey
widow.
Chestnut
Jaws.
over here.
Yeah. I just one quick story on the
One
Olive
day he's going to
Garden.
follow me on Twitter. I tweet at him. I've got Joey Jaws. I'm like, one day when he follows me, that will be my best follower ever.
I got to see this guy eat like 20 hot dogs. I want to see him eat.
I could do it. I can't
You
eat
can
the 77. that
Maybe
Joey-
20.
76
We'll,
You can
Joey
eat
we'll do a
Jaws.
20
20.
battle.
I think I could eat 10. I already said that. People want to say. I could eat 10.
Let's
like
do
with
the
the buns
20.
and stuff for sure. Maybe 15.
All right, guys, let's keep it
Competitive
going
eating,
here.
baby. That's where it's at.
I'll bring us to a highlight of the day and try to keep us focused here. Let's go to Boeing, as Boeing reported news today. Boeing coming in here, getting hit off of Spirit Air Systems. And it seems like we heard about this before. Didn't we hear issues about this? So Spirit Air Systems shares trading lower following Spirit halting work as the Wichita plant due to a union strike. So it looks like unions coming in here and ruining the Boeing party.
Yeah, big time. So SPR has ruined the Boeing party before as well. They need to start not going with so many parts from SPR because it seems like SPR always ruins the Boeing
destroying their stock.
This was back in April. It's the same thing, man, and hurting Boeing. So now, boom, SPR hurts Boeing here again. SPR just doesn't have it going on, and that's where all these Boeing parts come from. So there you're seeing that come down, SPR, Boeing. GE, sneaky little one play. They're not even touching it here yet, but GE does have some Boeing parts as well. Not like a direct play like SPR, though. But yes, you could see a little relative weakness in GE if the Boeing and SPR stay down. So keep an eye on that one. You got to know your relationships.
Channel station. That's in channel station. That has never broken the channel since January, man.
GE?
Yeah, man. It's in this crazy
sideways
channel.
Forever.
Crazy channel.
This is my last tangent of the day, and it's instigated by Chris Maldonado. He wanted to hear my Olive Garden story. This is about this real quick one. About might be 20, 25 years ago. We were on a family vacation, and we were down in the South, and everyone wanted to go to Olive Garden. We were for dinner, and I absolutely put my foot down. I said, I am not eating that food. And it and like the three of them ganged up against me. And I prevailed, though. I don't know what restaurant we went to, but I absolutely and they're like, "What's wrong?" But that was a long time ago.
You guys are trashing that. Olive Garden is good,
Boeing. I pointed this out on PreMarket Prep Plus yesterday. There's so much monthly resistance up here. I was looking at this yesterday, going all the way back the whole year. So I was cautious on this, at these monthly levels. Now where to buy the dip on this? Your pre-market low comes in at 204.50, and you have a daily low, nothing there. 200 maybe, but I don't think it's going there today.
Yeah, I like the trend weekly pullback to the trend line right now at the 205 level. I've been looking at this level for a little while now. It's just a trend line throwback look there where you break above the trend line on the weeklies, come back at the 205 level. Doesn't seem too bad there for me. I'll be keeping an eye out on Boeing. Also, XLI has been really pushing as of late. I don't know if you guys see that. Cat, Deer, super strong. So keep your eyes on the industrial sector. It just seems like it just wants to go. At least XLI looks pretty strong there to me. How do you see that chart, Joel? Just XLI overall.
XLI.
Of course, that's the
come
spider.
back with the IWM. So you've got all the industrials, the small caps have all kind of been the anti-AI trade here. Mm-hmm. So you saw Life about 3 weeks ago, which is what turned us bullish on this show, and the IWM and everything started to show some life. A little bit of pause here. XLI, full of that FedEx too, got hit a little bit with the FedEx, but then bounced back when FedEx bounced back. Keep that all in mind.
Look at
the problem
Deere.
is no AI play in the XLI. So, and the other problem is interest rate. Higher interest rates will eventually impact this. So I'd rather not own the XLI. I'm on the pullback here. I'm looking to buy AI plays. I'm not looking.
Yeah, wow! What an extended move for an ETF. I mean, maybe if this came down to the 102 area.
It's probably
I think you're taking a stab in this one. If anything, if you're taking a poke at it here, 103. There's a pair of lows at the 103.65 area, but I don't think I'd want to participate if it took out that area, 103.65, and little resistance here at the close, 104.83. That was yesterday's close in the XLI.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that, like I mentioned, I think a lot of that's coming also from farm and heavy construction, just ripping right back to the upside, almost back to the top side there for Deere, Cat. It's been a big rip right back up. All right, let's go to a downgrade here. Morgan Stanley stepping up on Alcoa here and downgrading Alcoa to underweight, lowering the price target to 33. I was wondering if we were going to get some basic materials to start getting a little bit hot, make a little bit of a bounce.
Gosh.
And no.
What? And this is oil all tied in. Basic materials oil has just been in a full-on bear market for a long time. Not participating in the recent run, really. Alcoa disaster. $98 at the beginning of 2022. It's not a 2-for-1 split. It's almost a 3-for-1 split at this point in time here. Low of the move is 31.14. I think you got some buyers probably down near the low of the move. But holy, what a disaster Alcoa has been. With that being said, at a certain point in time, I don't know if the value trade comes in here or not, but everybody threw Alcoa out back in 2020 and eventually did come back. Long term, maybe. I think JP Morgan's a little late to be downgrading it now.
I won't do my Klaus Kleinfeld imitation because he's not there anymore. Former support at the 33.80 to 34 area. You are breaching that now. So we'll use 34 as resistance to get back above 30. Mark, if we can prove it can hold 34 over the next couple days, maybe lead on, the recent low of the move. If not, I like Dennis's level at 31.14. But man, I wish they would have told me this like at the beginning of March instead of hanging on until it's 20 bucks lower.
Way late.
Late.
I know this is a little late too. There. What's up, Dennis?
TradeZero.
Yeah, we're going to TradeZero right now. I just wanted to kind of state there something that I always look at the sector and to just try to find something that's different. Maybe no one's looking at it. I know we talked about housing doing so well. I think we're missing out also on building materials, making a big move. Car Global, like the air conditioner, CARR, making big moves up here. Building materials, right? I mean, CRH, another building materials stock, and these are the highest capitalization stocks there. And Joel,
maybe
you talked about BLDR.
You're talking me into Alcoa.
You talked about BLDR multiple times, Joel.
Oh, man,
and these are all building materials stocks that we're just missing this play. And sometimes you miss plays. This seems to me like a miss. Like
what also we missed in the housing stocks, and this is an old timer. Dennis, where do you think Owens Corning is at?
Oh, probably gone.
To the hell, look at that.
Right? Is that asphalt shingles?
Insulation. Yep.
It's shingles too, isn't it?
Yep.
Let's go see the
primary materials, man.
It's all building materials, but let's just see the primary.
So that's an interesting area.
Yeah,
in
shingles,
basic materials.
insulation, roofing. Yeah.
Just
let's and Spinner called us out for it. I've missed the whole home builder trade. I missed it like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense looking hindsight capital 2020, looking back, it kind of makes sense, where people aren't moving, supply issues, interest rates, have slowed going down, but the lumber costs and some of the material costs have just come down so much. I mean, why? Again, I've said it, I was like, I'm never building a house again after 2 years ago, but then, lumber prices came way back down. You're buying sheets of plywood for $15. I bought a bunch yesterday. I mean, these were like $50 Canadian during the peak. The building materials have come down so much. The truss package that I just got on my shop was $6,000. The truss package. The guy that delivered them said if you bought those trusses 2 years ago, it would have been 18. The same truss package. So I'm like, there is stuff going on because the lumber costs have come down so much, and people think of lumber and houses. There's still those houses are a lot of money to build because everything else did not come down nearly as much, but the lumber has, and some of the other stuff probably has too, a little bit of stuff. So, I mean, there's a play there because the basic materials going into that has had actual deflation. There's deflation, one thing, and lumber has had major deflation.
That's the answer of why I could scratch my head with the home builders. I got the answer right there. Look at the building materials. That's showing us another reason why this is going higher. Let's go to
trade. Yeah, TradeZero. Yeah, we got
let's kick
4
it, guys.
minutes here.
All right. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look. The first one I want to get into is a retail stock that everyone's looking at today, Root. Root Inc. shares are trading higher Thursday following reports suggesting the company received a takeover bid. According to Wall Street Journal reports citing people familiar with the matter, Embedded Insurance has approached Root multiple times offering to acquire the company for $19.34 per share. We're trading right now at 14.50s and climbing higher here in the pre-market.
Is that from WSJ?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a good source. I mean, I can get better sources than WSJ, so they dot their I's and cross their T's. With that being said, still just rumors. We don't have, we don't know anything for certain. And again, this isn't like, oh yeah, they got a $19 deal. When I was reading it, it sounds like that they turned down a deal and, or a potential, but we don't know all the details behind that. So, people who are buying at 14.47, it's like, oh, they're going to get like 20, 25, 30. Bird in the hand trade here, though, was $6 yesterday. It's 14 here today. You want to stick around? Maybe you get the 20. Maybe there's a deal to be had at 22 or 23. Maybe there's no deal, though, and no deal equals not good news here for this. So I personally would ring the register in it. Just quick move, 6 to 14, on rumors. But that's just me.
Is this the Canadian retail company, apparel company?
No, it is
No,
not.
it's an insurance company.
Wasn't this a meme stock too? Correct me if I'm wrong. But wasn't Root one of those crazy meme stocks from 2021 when it went? Yeah, look,
it is backed by Carvana,
or did it reorg, or was this a different?
It is backed by Carvana.
I feel like this was a meme stock.
I don't know if it reorged or not. That I'm not going to say just because I don't have a confirmation on
Root
that.
Was a
I
SPAC.
can't say.
Spinner's saying it was a SPAC.
Yeah, I can say at least it has Carvana behind it. It looks like they invested in this company. So who knows? Maybe Carvana even gets a lift off of this. I don't know if Carvana will get a lift off of this. How's it moving right now?
I'll let you guys. You guys, let's move on from this one.
Yeah, this is just going to be one that it will be on retail's eyes today.
Make sure you take out the pre-market high. That's all I have to say.
Let's go to this one.
73.
Overstock, of course, getting looks like it got intellectual property from Bed Bath & Beyond, according to court reports, and CNBC reporting this. So they won the auction for this, and now Overstock getting a little bit of a lift on this. Do you think this is something that could last?
And the stock is up on that. What did they get? The 20% off gift certificates or whatever?
How to do discounts the wrong way.
I don't think this is good news. The street honestly disagrees with me. Pre-market high.
All the Bed Bath.
Stock loves to squeeze, though. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
This could squeeze. You got to watch that because Overstock.com, you're talking about a stock that was $111 a share. It's come all the way down. It's actually in a consolidation station for a bit, so technically it doesn't set up that bad. Is this a catalyst to drive us to 25? I don't know that it's not. So I wouldn't be shorting it. I'm probably not buying it either, though, because I agree with Joel. Up 7%, it seems like it's overdone. But man, I tell you, there's a potential for squeezy here, so I stay away.
Yeah, I'd stay away too. Let's keep going. Anything on the filter here standing out to you guys? I see Kellogg's Group standing out here, a little bit of an upgrade. There you go. We'll see if that's a good bottoming levels here, off of like kind of 65 levels.
Again, the trade here for all these staples,
and I
tweeted it yesterday, is the treasury yield is higher than all these staples.
Dividend yield, yep.
So I'm like, why am I buying Kellogg's for a 3.5% dividend when I can get 5.3% right now? You get 5 in a treasury. You could get the GICs 5.3. I mean, why? So if I'm going in the stock market, it's for growth, not for yield. If I'm just want yield, I'm going risk-free, baby. So I mean, you're competing with the treasury yield, and I've argued it's against the staples for a while and been wrong, but starting to be a little bit more right lately. So I don't want to buy Kellogg. I don't want to buy anything for a 4 or 5% dividend. If I'm coming in the market, it's for growth, not for yield.
All right. Little bit of a pop, nothing. I mean, if you're looking for a potential target today on the upside, let's see what happens at 66.33 and 66.35. That's the pair of highs from Tuesday and Wednesday. Dennis, have you seen Campbell's Soup chart lately? I mean, same thing. Oh my Lord!
Why do you want to be at 3.2%? There's no growth here, folks. This is defense. This is like, why do you want to be in this? People who are buying this at $55, I have no idea why. I don't want to be in these stocks. The Coca-Cola. Why do you want to be in Coca-Cola right now? Yeah, you get a little dividend, but the growth is not there. They think, oh, well, 3%, your money's pretty safe. Sure, it's a safety play. But you know what else is safe is treasuries. You know what else is safe in Canada is GICs. You know what else is a better yield than Coca-Cola and Campbell's? Both of those things, treasuries and GICs. 5%, 3%, I'll take the risk-free 5.
All right, let's go ahead. We'll wrap it up here. I'm throwing up the link here if you guys want to check out this platform and check out, of course, TradeZero's flagship software, Zero Pro. Let's get over to the ES and take a look at the last outlook here from Joel Elconin.
We got a little pop over mid-range, so I got a good secondary number for you. Mid-range on the session is 03.25. Yesterday's low 03.5. The pop that you just had on the I don't know if it was around the 830 number, that came in at 04.25. So that's what the bulls have to do on the downside. If you get through the pre-market low, I'm looking for another perhaps 10-handle drop to the June 13th low at 44.8175. And folks, sorry about all the tangents today, but Dennis started it. I'll talk to you guys later on.
And Joel definitely finished it, baby. All right, guys, we'll get you guys over to the market. Get ready, guys. It's going to be another day, definitely to watch out to see if we get a little bit of a bounce or do we continue the leak. Of course, we'll continue to watch to see what happens in the Qs. That's what I've been watching more along. It's not even the SPY, because the SPY was kind of like doing a little bit of mixed signals yesterday. I felt like it was holding near VWAP versus how the Qs were, which was really getting knocked down here. Dennis, what are you keeping an eye on? Kind of like
AI trade, in my opinion, is not over. This tech trade, I don't believe is over either. I think it paused after the option expiration. The bears are prancing around on my Twitter telling us this is the start. This is what we've been looking for. This is the big, correction. This is where Mike Wilson's going to be correct. I think I'm buying the pullback in tech. I mean, maybe not, in the long-term account unless the valuation's there, although AVGO starts to get attractive. There is a few that, you're thinking about. But short term here, let's look at the double bottom QQQs just from last week. Like, bears, take it easy. We're back to where we were last week. 360.03, low on the Qs on June 13th. Next day, June 14th, 360.42. Let's see what it does at 360. Can the 360 hold? Maybe we just crash and burn. Maybe this is the big one. Maybe we're going and this is it. We're going down to the October lows and this is it. It's always possibilities of everything. But right now, I will say bulls are still in control, despite the bears prancing around and dancing in the streets.
We will see what happens there. Will the bears take control again for another day? Because that's the way I would look at it. And I don't think they have control. I think the bulls are still in control here. But definitely we're getting a little bit of some pullback action. You guys keep up with everything Dennis Dick does. Of course, Triple D Trader. See you tomorrow, my friend. Enjoy the markets. Looks like you already are, my friend.
We try. See you, Mitch.
Later, Dennis. All right, time to get you guys over to, of course, live trade in action. That's coming up next. Don't go anywhere, team. You guys want to go ahead and check out how we're doing on the trading action. Had some good trades yesterday. Was trading SQQQ, SOX S. Also traded later in the day, short side on AI. So if you guys want to come and check out, of course, our live trading stream, that's coming up next. You don't got to go anywhere. Just stick right here. And we'll bring you right over to live trading. That's starting up right now, so don't go anywhere. And of course, if you guys are interested in learning a little bit, and I know that some of you guys are, take a look at the book club. That's really where I think we give our most value back to you guys, especially in education. So check that out, guys. This is a special thing that I do. Don't need to do it, but I enjoy to do it with you guys and go over through different books. We've done some charting books. We've done some psychology books. Now we're looking at maybe doing some fundamental book, also looking into kind of market wizards. Come check it out, team. You guys will find definite value in the book club, and it's a true community where they're really supporting each other and trying to grow to the next level. Now to get you guys over to some live trading action, don't go anywhere, team. Stay right here on Benzinga.